Cowboy Nation, the Cowboys rookie minicamp just kicked off, and Christian Parker is already making one thing crystal clear. This is not Vic Fangio's defense. This is not the Eagles' defense. This is theirs. And the way he's setting that tone from day one tells you everything about where this Cowboys defense is headed. But what really caught my attention today is Caleb Downs getting extra time with coaches. And trust me, when you hear the details, you're going to want to stick around for this one. What's up, Cowboys? Welcome to NFL Playbook Cowboys. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. All right, so let's just get right into it because there's a lot to unpack from this rookie minicamp, and I mean a lot. Look, I know some of you might be thinking it's just a minicamp walkthrough, relax, and honestly, I get that. But you know me, I'm always looking for information. Any information, because even in these walkthroughs, there are nuggets in there if you know where to look. And today had some real ones. So let's break this down. First things first, Christian Parker and this defense. Man, I cannot tell you how much I appreciate what this guy is already doing from a messaging standpoint. Right out of the gate, he comes out and says this is our defense, not the Eagles' defense, not Vic Fangio's scheme, ours. And that might sound like just words to some people, but to me, that means everything. You know how many coaches and coordinators come into a new role and they're still operating like they're working for somebody else? They're running the same plays, the same concepts, the same everything from their old gig. And it's like, bruh, you have your own job now. Be yourself. And Christian Parker is not doing that. He is being intentional, and I think that word matters, intentional about building something that belongs to this team, this coaching staff, this moment. Look, I've seen coordinators come in and just recycle everything they learned under their previous guy, and it never really works long term because you can tell it's not authentic. But when Parker comes out and basically says, we're not married to what came before us, that tells me this guy has been sitting on some ideas. Like he probably had things he wanted to do differently for a while, and now he finally has the platform to do it, and I respect that so much. That's a guy who's going to coach with conviction, and that's exactly what this defense needs right now. Now, let's talk about the guy who is going to be the centerpiece of this whole thing, Caleb Downs. Honestly, I could talk about this dude all day. Christian Parker is already saying things about him that, just make you feel good as a Cowboys fan. He's talking about how you watched 3 years of film on this guy and nothing changed. Nothing. You see him play on the roof at Alabama, you see him down the line, around the box, but he is always in the mix. Always. And that's the thing about certain players. They just have a natural feel for the game that you cannot coach. You either have it or you don't. And Caleb Downs clearly hasn't. Parker even said he's one of those guys you pick first on the schoolyard. I mean, how do you not love hearing that? And look, I want to be real with you guys. He's going to make mistakes. He's going to miss tackles. He's going to be out of position sometimes because that's just the NFL. The learning curve is real. But when it clicks for this guy, it is going to click in a big way. And the fact that Christian Parker is already investing extra time with him, making sure his #1 pick is locked in and dialed in from the jump, that's your coordinator understanding what he has and not taking it for granted. This is Parker's specialty, turning guys like Caleb Downs into Pro Bowlers and fast. So let's not lose sight of that because the messaging around this kid has been nothing but consistent, and I love that. Okay, so now let's shift over to someone I think is flying a little under the radar in this conversation, Jaishawn Barham. And guys, I need you to really pay attention here because this is important. They're starting him inside at the mic. And I know some people had questions about where exactly he fits. Like, is he an edge guy? Is he a linebacker? What's the plan? And I'm glad the Cowboys seem to have an answer, and a clear one at that. Here's what I keep coming back to with Barum. This guy is 6'4", 245 pounds, and he moves around like that's nothing. He could probably get up to 250 and still run sideline to sideline. That is a big, imposing athlete. And the coaching staff is already saying you don't have to do a lot of projection with him. You've seen him do it at Maryland. You've seen him do it at Michigan. The production is there. The instincts are there. So putting him at the mic and letting him learn that position, letting him get downhill, letting him trigger, that's the right call. all, and I'm glad they're not splitting his attention. Like, my concern coming in was that they'd have him bouncing between rooms, one day working with one group, next day somewhere else, and that's just too much for a rookie. Let him lock in on one thing, get great at it, and build from there. That's exactly what it sounds like they're doing, and I'm here for it. Now, let's get into the guys coming in as undrafted free agents and tryout players, because this is where it gets interesting if you're paying attention to roster building. Traeshon Holden and Jaishawn Barham are going to be in camp, and honestly, Traeshon Holden is the one I keep coming back to. Look, this guy was really good in camp last year, like genuinely good. The problem was just the numbers. You've got so many receivers on this roster that it's hard to crack through even when you're performing. But this year feels a little different. He's a great route runner, he's a separator, and he's got some juice to his game that you just notice on film. I'm not going to sit here and promise you he makes the team, but I do think if he gets real reps in preseason with that second unit, him, Joe Milton, whoever else is out there, and he's just undeniable, that flash receiver that everybody falls in love with during training camp, he could be that guy. He has the tools for it. I'm holding out some hope there. And then you've got Michael Trigg and DJ Rogers coming in as undrafted free agents who got the most guaranteed money, $200,000 each. And look, that number matters. When a team gives you that kind of guarantee as an undrafted guy, they're telling you something. They see something in you. So those two are going to have a real opportunity to make a case for themselves. And I think Michael Trigg especially is going to generate some serious buzz when camp gets going. He's going to make plays. I can feel it. The hype around him is going to go through the roof once people start seeing him actually work. And since we're talking about tight ends, I do want to bring up something that I think needs to be said. I went back and rewatched some film recently, and I have to be honest, Jake Ferguson has got to be better. Like, there are too many moments where mistakes are happening that just shouldn't be happening. Fumbles, penalties, you name it. And I know everybody always wants to point fingers at other guys on the roster, but Jake Ferguson is not immune to criticism here. Maybe Michael Trigg coming in and just being in that room, competing, pushing him, maybe that's exactly what's needed. Competition is healthy. It makes everybody better. And at the end of the day, this team needs their tight end to be locked in and reliable. So I'll be watching that situation closely as camp progresses. But, stepping back and looking at the big picture of what today gave us, I'm genuinely feeling good about where this team is headed into this process. Christian Parker is setting the right tone on defense. Caleb Downs is already making the kind of impression that has coaches staying late with him. Jaishawn Barham has a clear role and a clear plan, and there are players on the fringes of this roster who are hungry and ready to prove something. That's a good combination, honestly. That's the kind of energy you want to see at this stage. Look, I know it's early, I know it's a walkthrough, but the details matter and the messaging matters. And right now, everything coming out of this rookie minicamp is pointing in the right direction. I'm going to keep watching, keep breaking it down, and keep bringing it to you guys as fast as I can. That's what we do here. Cowboys football, if they've got helmets on, we're talking about it. Let me know what you think in the comments. What stood out to you most from today? I love hearing from you all. We'll talk soon.